The attack on Pearl Harbor was a surprise military strike by the Empire of Japan on the United States Pacific Fleet at its naval base at Pearl Harbor on Oahu, Hawaii, on December 7, 1941. At the time, the U.S. was a neutral country in World War II. The air raid on Pearl Harbor, which was launched from aircraft carriers, resulted in the U.S. declaring war on Japan on the day following the attack. The Japanese military leadership referred to the attack as the Hawaii Operation and Operation I, and as Operation Z during its planning. The attack on Pearl Harbor was preceded by months of negotiations between the U.S. and Japan over the future of the Pacific. Japanese demands included that the U.S. end its sanctions against Japan, cease aiding China in the Second Sino-Japanese War, and allowed Japan to access the resources of the Dutch East Indies. Japan sent out its naval attack group on November 26, 1941, just prior to receiving the Hull Note, which stated the U.S. desire that Japan withdraw from China and French Indochina. Isoroku Yamamoto, commander of the Japanese Combined Fleet, planned the attack as a pre-emptive strike on the Pacific Fleet, based at Pearl Harbor since 1940 in order to prevent it from interfering with Japan's planned actions in Southeast Asia. Yamamoto hoped that the strike would enable Japan to make quick territorial gains and negotiate a peace. In addition to Pearl Harbor, over 7 hours Japan launched coordinated attacks on the U.S.-held Philippines, Guam, and Wake Island, and on the British Empire in Malaya, Singapore, and Hong Kong.
The attack force, commanded by Chichi-Nagumo, began its attacks at 7:48 a.m. Hawaiian time 6:18 p.m. on December 7, 1941. The base was attacked by 353 fighters, level and dive bombers, and torpedo bombers in 2 waves launched from 6 aircraft carriers. Of the 8 U.S. battleships present, all were damaged and 4 were sunk. All but Arizona were later raised, and 6 were returned to service during the war. The Japanese also sank or damaged 3 cruisers, 3 destroyers, an anti-aircraft training ship, and a mine layer. More than 180 U.S. aircraft were destroyed. A total of 2,403 Americans were killed and 1,178 others were wounded, while the Japanese lost a total of 29 aircraft, 5 midget submarines, and 130 men. The 3 U.S. carriers stationed at Pearl Harbor were at sea at the time, and important base installations, including its oil storage and naval repair facilities, were not attacked. Japan declared war on the U.S. and the British Empire later that day, December 8 in Tokyo, but the declarations were not delivered until the next day. On December 8, both the United Kingdom and U.S. declared war on Japan. On December 11, though they had no formal obligation to do so under the Tripartite Pact with Japan, Germany, and Italy each declared war on the United States, which responded with a declaration of war against Germany and Italy. While there were historical precedents for unannounced military action by Japan, the lack of a formal warning and perception that the attack had been unprovoked led U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt to famously label December 7, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The attack was the deadliest event ever in Hawaii, and the deadliest foreign attack on the U.S. until the September 11 attacks of 2001.